What's happening? Hello. Hey, Wednesday live stream. Tell y'all my daughter's softball schedule is going to be having everything jacked up. It's her senior year, so we didn't know she'd even be playing softball this year after her injury. She missed all of last season and half of the season before that. So she stuck it out. Last time I'll probably ever get to see her play softball, so I'm making every game, and I hope everybody can understand. Oh. Hope everybody's doing well. I was wondering about my audio because I can hear somewhere. I thought I heard an echo. I can't figure out where the hell it's coming from. But if you tell me it's fine, oh, hold on 1 second. That's work calling me, which is something bad. We had some radio system difficulties this evening when we lost fiber. Our backup microwave happens to be down. So, that's how it always works out. But I'm back. So, and actually, the same company that runs the fiber for work is actually my internet service provider. So, if y'all start seeing some hiccups, I see I got 6% drop frames already. So, hopefully, I'm not having an internet issue. But I paid my bill. So, what else is going on in the world of crypto? Cloud says morning. If you say so, Cloud. I know it ain't morning for you. Well, it could be morning for you. You youngsters, y'all. The older I get, the closer it is to my bedtime. So I hope everybody's doing well. I tried getting some updates with crypto and stuff going on, and it's funny that you just see these YouTubers and everybody's saying the same thing. This is it. This is we're ready to pounce back, and we coming back hard and all this stuff like that. I'm gonna tell y'all that none of this stuff is financial advice. And I know I don't have to tell y'all that because I say that enough. But before I tell you my quick story, I'm going to tell you. I just want to tell you again, not financial advice, because I don't know nothing. That's why I'm still working after 10 years in crypto. At the meeting today that I had, we had a big regional meeting today, and some of these people know that I'm in crypto. They know I got the YouTube and that kind of stuff like that, and I had some like 2 or 3 people even ask me if what's your plan from here? What do you plan on doing and that kind of stuff like that. I give long answers all the time. And while again, I'm gonna say this again, this is not financial advice. This is just what me and what I'm doing or what my feelings are. And it'd probably be safer for you to do the opposite. But what I'm telling people is this. Some of these people are completely new to crypto. They have been wanting to get into crypto, but because Bitcoin was 120,000, 110,000, 115,000, they smartly said we wanted to wait. So now they're looking to get into it after this dip. And what I'm basically telling them is if I was starting fresh, no DPIN, no projects, no nothing, no gaming, no meta, no nothing. If I was starting fresh today, I know some of y'all will agree with this because y'all have told me this, I'd purchase Bitcoin and Bitcoin only. Screw the rest. My nerves and my heart can't handle alts anymore. I'm going to continue with projects. I'll continue to buy certain tokens when they are seriously down. You vet Adam, Cardano, but that's me. And I explain this to them. I'm already in vet. I was buying vet when it was 15, 12, 10, 8, 7, 6, 5 cents. I am buying vet at 0.0071 to get my average cost down. I am buying peak, even though I have zero faith in that. I'm telling you, not financial advice. Do not touch peak because I have zero faith it's going to do anything, which means you'll probably go and quadruple from here. But at one point it was 50, 60 cents. I think it's at a penny now. But I'm only buying it again to get my average cost down. My average cost is now down to about 10 cents. And I'd like to get it even further down than that. Do I think it's going to go astronomically up? I don't know, because there's no projects that I really feel ooey gooey about that's using peak. I think Mass Chain is, and I made it no secret, and I support those guys, and I hope they do well. But I've made it no secret that I think Mass Chain is making a huge diabolical mistake by going to peak. But like somebody else told me behind the scenes, peak probably made them an offer to come to them, made them promises and all kind of stuff, but they're not established. What they got? Silencio on peak, and that's it. Combiner is talking about it. I don't know. So like I'll buy some tokens again if I can get, if it's going to make a decent impact to my average cost price. If you want to get into a deep end project, you get into the deep end project because you like that particular project and what that project's doing. At this point with deep end, you have to look at it as, what's the cost for me to get in? And am I okay if I never see a profit from this project? If you can't say yes to that question, you need to stick with just buying crypto. Is there anybody who disagrees with that? I know 619 don't disagree with that, but anybody else? Does anybody else disagree with that? Do you know, I think Helium's set, and I've said this, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but I just feel we need to talk about it while we're talking about this subject. I just think Helium set this precedent of, hey, $5,000 in 17 days. That's what we made. We will, I just can never see a project ever. That was just the perfect storm, perfect things lined up. And I never can see anything like that happening again. Yeah. The only way you'll make 10 grand in crypto again, I'm sorry, 5 grand in crypto again, is if you own, a couple of Bitcoin and it goes up enough. That's the only way you're going to make that kind of money again. Joining a goofy deep end project. Now, do I see promise in some certain deep pins coming around the corner? Yes, I do. But I still think people need to tame or temper, whatever you want to call it, their expectations. Again, I'm still on board with Wingbits. I think it's going to be a very good project. But y'all know Grumpy's rules. Just because it's a good project doesn't mean it's a good paying project to its contributors. It can be a successful project, a huge successful project from the business side, the business aspect. Don't mean that we're going to do awfully well on the contributor side or these guys. We know ADSB, we know they got companies buying this data left and right. And I think if that is true, I can see the same thing on the ship side, even though I think that's going to be a smaller market because airplanes are all over the almost the entire world, where ships are only on certain areas. But I don't know. I don't know what kind of rewards we're looking at, or what kind of direction that project's going. But at least with Mass Chain, you have a lot smaller price to get in. I added a station recently in Baton Rouge, made the antenna myself. It ain't the greatest antenna, but hey, it's got a very low SWR. I had a black SDR. I actually went and bought another one. And before this one came in, I actually found an extra SDR that I had laying around. So technically I didn't have to buy this one. And then I'm using a helium miner that I took down from Helium because Helium was making me a penny a day. So basically that Baton Rouge station on Mass Chain didn't cost me anything. So any kind of profit I get from it, I'm happy. the particular place I have it at in Baton Rouge, I'm not even paying for internet service. So if I make a couple of dollars, technically I'm in a profit. Now, we can argue, is your time worth money of setting it all up, going back out there because something was wrong with it and I had to go fix the antenna? Yeah, but I think it's a moot point. With Wingbits now, you're not getting Wingbits. 619 is selling a geosigner along with a package deal. He's got a device he's getting out of. And if anybody's interested in the geosigner along with his AirSpy Mini, I think he was wanting what 400, 450, 425 or something on it. Contact 619 OTA, who's in the chat. He's on Discord and he's looking, if you feel it's worth that, I'm not gonna sit here and talk bad about the man. He's sitting here and he's my first one in my chat. The AirSpy Minis are very good devices. I don't know if he's gonna include LNA with it, but you pair it up with LNA. My tower's doing great with an AirSpy Mini, but if you want to do a DIY device, you have to have that geosigner. All right, let's go. Morning, Grumpy. What's happening? What's crypto saying? A scam? Depend. Don't expect price increase. A coworker said to me today, since you've been in crypto for a while, that you must have a lot of it. I have some alt bags, but a lot of it is in hardware or for the hardware to work. That's true. Ontario Miner, I'm here too. What's happening, Ontario Miner? Is it cold up there? I was at my daughter's softball game last night. It was in the low 50s, might even hit upper 40s. Last night, night before that, freezing our tail off. Today, it was 75 degrees. They say we're done with winter down here, but I've told them every year they say that. Every year in March when it's 80 degrees, everybody works in their gardens and in their landscaping. I try to tell people it's way too early, and there's always this really, really cold frost or cold snap that comes late March, early April, and zaps everything. And I get to say my favorite words. So we'll see if I get to say my favorite words. I mean, we're in February, heading to February, and they're trying to tell us winter's over. I bet we still get at least 1 or 2 weekends of days at some point of very cold weather. So y'all, I'm stuck watching right now on YouTube these cabin in Alaska where him and his dog go up there and they sit in the cabin all day and watch the snow come down and read books and work on little things and stuff like that. I'm hooked. I ain't saying I want to go. Dude had it the other day. It was -40 when he was going into his cabin. He walks in the cabin's -20. I'm like, screw that. I ain't built for that. I ain't built for it. So, I don't know what's gonna happen with crypto. I saw that it dipped again. I don't know. It's been a busy day at work today, and I can tell you from what I did see, you had some people complaining about everything from the State of Union address. And while I would love to sit here and discuss, because somebody asked me on this, like what I thought about it, and we know that if I just got my 36,000 subscribers up, I don't want to sit here and discuss the State of Union, but like, I'm gonna sit there and say I shouldn't say shit, and I'm gonna sit there, then I'm gonna say something. Look, I have this attitude that both sides are hypocrites at this point. Republicans can say stuff during Biden's speech, and there's nothing wrong with it, and they can do shenanigans. There's nothing wrong with it. And then last night you had Democrats that said stuff during Trump's, and we're supposed to all be pissed off. Do I think what the 2 or 3 senators from Minnesota, whatever, were completely out of line? Absolutely. Does it disgust me when he says everybody should stand up for keeping Americans safe, and they couldn't stand up, and the little kid that had the cancer and stuff like that? I think that's disgusting. But I think both sides got issues, and I just think we need a third party. I think both sides are they're just creating this bigger divide. And why do I bring this up? Because I think that has a lot to do with this volatility in crypto. it you got Trump probably trolling half the stuff he says. Half the shit that comes out of his mouth is crap, and he knows he is pushing the buttons of these Democrats. The Democrats and the media are going to push stuff that um when Trump sneezed earlier, we heard him say Iraq, which means he must be about to attack Iraq. And there goes the stocks, and there goes crypto. The media pushing it, and I just I had a discussion earlier with a friend. I'm like, dude, I'm not. He's all like this rabbit hole with what's her name with Charlie Kirk's wife and all that stuff. He's down in that rabbit hole, and I'm like, you got to remember, she's doing a lot of that. Candace Owens, like, dude, she's doing a lot of that. She needs views. Every week she has a new conspiracy theory. What the hell are you like losing it for? So I don't know, man. It's I refuse. I've told you all this many times. I've told certain people who were on my Discord, that and used to come on this YouTube, and I would tell them I'm going to live my life for the best today that I can live my life for me and my family. The things that I can control in my world, and I'm not losing sleep down these goofy rabbit holes of what, even if it is true, what I can't do nothing about it. The only reason it pisses me off is because it's affecting crypto. The only reason I'm discussing it now is it's affecting crypto. Does anybody doubt it's affecting crypto? They're going to interpret whatever the man says any way they want, and it's affecting crypto. So apparently, crypto must have liked everything they heard last night in the speech. Here we go again. So basically, yesterday, all day yesterday, we had, well, that's today, this morning. Well, you had a huge green candle that you can't see because my face is in the way, but you had a huge green candle in the middle of that speech last night. So apparently, he must have said something that people liked. See if I can make this a little bigger. So that's in the middle of that speech, that straight up green lawn. So apparently, he must have said something. I didn't watch it. My wife and I sat here and watched TV, other crap on TV, westerns, something on Pluto, cartoons. I don't know. She sat there and did schoolwork. She's assistant principal, and she works. I don't know when she takes a break. And then it went on, and you had a nice green day. It's going to be curious to see what happens after this. So are we going to find resistance here and then continue going up, or are we going to bounce back down? And I don't know. Don't know. Let's see what else we got. I haven't looked. I'm telling you, I haven't looked at crypto. We had a big meeting at work. Was dealing with that. I'm losing my mind with this mesh stuff. Man, vet was down to 0.0070. Came up to 0.0078. I made a pretty decent purchase down here at, my head's in the way again. Still can't see it. There you go. Up in here somewhere, which is about, I think I want to pay, I think I played somewhere between 0.0071 something to 7.2. So, technically I'm up on that purchase. H&T was making this big comeback. It's up to what, $1? It's up to $1.70. Down $1.41. I didn't do a video on Monday/Tuesday because of my daughter's softball game show Monday night. So I didn't really get to go over all the prices of what our projects are doing. Solana's still under 100. I bought a lot of Solana, about $1,000 worth. couple of weeks back. I told you all about that. And average price I paid was like 135. I need to come back. This one's making me sick. It's giving me stomach aches. Where we at with peak? Peak we at 0.0165. I guess I need to raise my alarm a little bit because it doesn't look like it's going to hit that anytime soon. About 1.4. XRP $1.43. So it's come up a little bit. 131. What else? Anybody else? I know some of y'all in ICP. ICP had a nice little push. Same thing, was at $2 and it went up to 260. Is that 240? So that's pretty good. See, I look at like WIF, and WIF's a strong Solana token. But what we just saw with these cycles is the money going to feed down that low, you know? WIF, Bonk, like some of those are your stronger Solana tokens, meme tokens. I don't know, you know? Part of me had like, if I had money to blow and I was in profits and I can blow money and stuff like that, I'd buy. I'd buy this when it flashed down to 19 or 18 cents. When it was at $3 not too long ago, $4. But I don't know. Somebody has been purchasing stuff from my Helium deploy code. Let's see what's been selling. You know, I like to give y'all hints and tell y'all what's hot right now and what's been selling. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, it's been slow. We haven't been doing any videos. There hasn't been really new D-pin releases. So let's kind of be expected. So we got 2 sales in the last couple of days. BitX Gamma. And what is this? Add-on mining jumpstart. Boost your earnings for beginners. That's something with BitX Gamma version 2.0. I don't know if they all right, so that's what somebody purchased. And let's see what the other purchase was. The other purchase was a BitX Super Hex. So solar mining, I've told you before, I got a feeling that that's all that's going to be really moving right now, especially with other people doing videos on that kind of stuff. Let's see. Somebody's got a new drop. Oh no, I just made my screen dark. Let's flip this around here. Put my fat head back on the other side. So let's see. The hammer miner. What are these guys on batch 8? 22 remaining of it. Look, this has been moving. This is again tells y'all I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I don't know why y'all watch me or anything like that. You in batch 8, if they've had about 50 in each batch, you're looking at almost 400. And while that still doesn't even scratch the surface of what Wingbits has, the fact that you have devices that are about $1,000 a piece speaks volumes. Hey, I hope to do well. I have a 4D Sky device. I just raised it before it was on one of my poles. I tell you all the time that I put antennas and stuff on top rail, the 10-foot top rail metal fencing post. And I actually was able to get up my tower 40 feet. I put a mesh core device up there for mesh, and also put my 4D Sky, the main antenna for ADS-B and GPS up there also. It improved my results. Hey, look, I'm poor and greedy. I hope it does very, very well also. I think from what I'm seeing and what people are saying and what you're seeing with each of these projects, there's enough business to go around for both Wingbits and 40 Sky. So, going back to, what was the other thing? I wanted to see what the hell this was. So this is a Hammer Miner DC06. HD care is included. And here is your mining rewards estimate. This is on the script algorithm, 330 mega hashes a second. And you're mining the coin Litecoin. See, you see what I'm doing there? For a long time, when I was talking about Rover, I kept saying Litecoin instead of the Litecoin device. And now that I'm trying to say Litecoin, now I'm saying Litecoin. It sucks getting old. Anyway, so Litecoin and Doji. So every block reward is 10,000 Doge, which is $1,000. You have per block is 1 in 5.4 million. Per day is 1 in 39.79. Per week is 1 in 569. 1 in 131. Y'all don't drop what y'all doing to go purchase this. Y'all stay on the live for right now. But when y'all do go purchase this, use Grumpy's code, please. Listen, not financial advice. Please don't say Grumpy told y'all to buy this. But what I am going to sit here and say is that you have a way better chance with this. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not the same kind of reward you're going to get with Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin's what, 3.25 or something like that, you know, and at the current price now, was it 3.25 at, what were we at, 68,000 or something like that? You know, you're looking at $221,000, but you're only doing 3 block rewards per day, where this one you're doing a lot more. So now, if you try to do a pool, like some people say, we all know, we said about before, there's not enough mega hash to do anything. So, you know, you're going to make 25 cents a day. I'm guaranteeing you probably won't even make that with a daily estimate of electricity of 23 cents. Now, if you're getting free electricity, like I was when I was doing ASIC mining, well, then you can make a full 25 cents a day. You get just as much money as some of these deep in projects. It would take you too long to make, because again, as that difficulty goes up, your revenue is going to go down. I'm telling you right now, I would not purchase any of these solar miners if you're thinking about doing a pool for this little bit of money. They're not made for that. They're not made to compete with that. They are strictly meant to be exactly what this word says, lottery. I tell y'all all the time, and I don't know where my picture's at. I might have to go find it, but I have a picture somewhere of let me see where I don't know. I had it somewhere. Me and my girlfriend eating at Popeyes. Tell you, y'all have a better chance of seeing Dolly Parton inside of a Pizza Hut, ordering everybody free pizzas at the same time, giving out free cars with Oprah, than y'all do of hitting a lottery. I don't know how else to tell y'all, because people seem to get upset and get butthurt when YouTubers start talking about these solar miners. Why? Like, who's buying solar miners and really thinking that they're going to hit these things? You're basically buying, instead of buying a lottery ticket every Saturday, a Powerball ticket every Saturday, you just kind of pre-buying it now, and you're going after a lottery that hits every 3 days. I mean, 3 times a day. can't find my Sydney Sweeney picture. I used to joke that you have better chance of Grumpy eating Popeyes down here at the local Popeyes. You know, Popeyes was invented in New Orleans. But I have a better chance of eating fried chicken with Sydney Sweeney, my girlfriend, at a Popeyes than winning the lottery and getting $300,000 for the thing. My point is, if YouTubers and influencers, if they keep telling people that and people are buying them, why are other people getting butthurt about it? We've told y'all. Grumpy ain't spending $500 on this. Before y'all even ask, Grumpy ain't spending $500. I've said that if I was gonna buy one, it was gonna be one of the other ones. What's JD's picks? This one's three. This one's 325 with less mega hash. What was the other mega hash? 330 mega hash. This one's less than half of the mega hash, and only $100 less. And you have a 1 in 694 chance, which is what the same thing the other one was. This was 1 in 221. I don't understand that because you have the same amount of things every day. The BitX Gamma, and I think where's the 2.0? Yeah, the BitX Gamma though, the 1.0 version, which at one time was much more than this, if you remember, because we couldn't understand why in the hell this one would be more than the 2.0 that was coming out. But this miner's Shay, whatever you want to call it, 256 SHA, which is Bitcoin, BCH and Bitcoin, or and I know some people are saying they are mining BCH instead. A block reward for BCH is $1,549. Bitcoin is $214,148. That is this is the 2.0 right here. This is $95, 1.5 terahash. And how much was the one? The one we just looked at was 300. No. That's the Litecoin one. 1.2 terahash. So you're getting a little more terahash for less money with this BitX Gamma. Ships from warehouse March 3rd. So they're no longer pre-sale, they're coming in about a week's time. But again, check this out. Helium Deploy is telling you straight up, this is how much you're going to make. Your odds to win per block is 823 million. Per day is 4.8 million. Per week is 684,000. And per month is 157,000. 1 in 157,000 is your chance. So basically, you know that you're buying this for the nostalgia part of it. And don't expect anything different, because you have people who have bought God knows how many of these. I've seen it in videos, people talking about it. People are setting up mining farms of just these things. So know what you're going up against. It ain't just people like you and me buying these things. And just understand you have very little chance of, even though that video we watched, now I did a link of it a while back to Red Panda. They basically said, there are more solo miners hitting blockchains than people talk about, or hitting blocks, whatever you want to call it. But still, when you look at the overall amount of these things that are now deployed, you just saw how many are just being sold in Helium Deploy itself. That kind of tells you. So I've warned y'all enough, which, if I was that kind of YouTuber that I'm accused of by some people, I would sit here and tell y'all, oh man, y'all need to buy this thing. Make sure you use my code. Make sure you use my code. But y'all need to buy this thing. You have a 1 in 300 chance of, but I'm not about all that. I like to make sure y'all know the fine print too. I think it's a cool thing. I still say one day I'm gonna buy one of these just so I can set it up and take a look at it. I get paid Friday with all my Mardi Gras overtime. I might buy one just for the hell of it. Who knows? Captain Voss bought 1,000 of them. Holy hell. That goes to show you. Like that's what you're competing against. What the hell are you gonna do with like 1,000 of them? I mean, is he trying to pull them all together? I don't get it, man. I don't know how he does it. $500 for 330 million. Isn't great? So slightly unrelated, Heltech got back with me, and mid-March is confirmed for the new Heltech mesh solar. Seems to be being 1 watt. That's awesome. I wouldn't mind playing with that. Solar monitors are new helium scam. I disagree with that comment. Solar monitors are not the new helium scam. They're, other than a couple of goofy YouTubers, there's been no secret made that I joke, but I'm being dead serious. You have better chances of me seeing Sydney Sweeney in the Popeyes than winning a block. And if somebody keeps telling you that, if somebody keeps saying you have a better chance of winning the lottery twice, the real lottery, before you get a block, and you continue to buy that, how is that a scam? You know, there is a possible, it's a scam only if, to me, if there's no possible way that these things will hit a block, whether it's Litecoin, Doge, BCH, Bitcoin. But there is a very, very small chance, but it's not like it's no chance. And everybody's made that perfectly clear. I think what's happened is, and I've talked about this many times before, that the ASIC mining thing has gotten so expensive. Your average person like me is not buying one for 10 grand. So these companies have to stay in business. So they started with this kind of stuff. You know, what else could it be? Those are those solar mines. You want that nerd XQ plus plus. As long as people understand a lot, it's not horrible. That's how I look at it. I agree. As long as people understand. Let's see what else they got going on. What else? Here's the Nerd QX that 619 mentioned. Apparently, it must be finishing out because I see where it says final sale. And same thing. You have a 1 in 30. Now, this has 6 terahashes. So he's right. You're getting way more terahash for less of a price than the other one. You're getting 1 in 39,000 of a chance per month, or 1 in 205 per block. But this is the Nerd QX plus. And don't forget, with the Grumpy code, you should get like $38 off this, something like that, when you're checking out. So really, it's like $350. Whew. I don't want to start yawning. I've been worn out. Like doing this, my daughter's softball and all this stuff. This is 12 terahash. More than 19,000 chances. So look, it clearly states right here, you basically have no chance of getting this. If you continue to buy it, hey, look, people buy stuff all the time that they can't really use, right? Different, depending on what hobbies. You got people who spend all this money on figurine dolls, Star Wars, Star Trek, Pokemon, I don't know, whatever. Keep it in the package just to put it right there and don't do nothing. Hell, I can turn this camera around and take a picture of these. And we talked about this before, of these goofy figurine things my wife got in this cabinet right behind me that she had to have when we were dating and engaged and got married, because this was supposed to be our freaking retirement. All these goofy dreamsicle things behind me. And guess what? You go to eBay right now, they worth $4. And they just sat there and did nothing. And I spent some pretty good money on the rarer ones. So, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that you can buy in life that ain't worth crap. People buy show cars and won't put them on the street. You know, I'll buy one of these things for $99 to go sit back here and probably do better than what these ESP32s right now, because half of them are plugged in or on projects that we talked about last week that ain't even in business anymore. Junk coin. The Avalon Nano looks very interesting with its price point, and it's 6 on SH, 6 terahertz on SH256. So this is one of these ones that, like, for years with ASICs, heat was such a bad thing because, it's going to warm up all your stuff. And then they flip it around that, hey, you can get a heater for your house that also could mine Bitcoin. And that's where this came from. Like, okay, you get a black one, white one. We like $319 for 6 terahash. I tell you what, it's bigger than what I thought it was going to be. Yeah. Run a game on solar might do it during the summer. All right, so what all y'all came here for? I saw a kind of big announcement from Wingbits. Everybody's patiently waiting for that TGE. And we apparently we're inching closer and closer. And I'll be the first one to tell you I can't wait. What's gonna happen once it goes TGE? Nobody knows. I can guarantee you this. You can bet the house on this thing. This right here is financial advice. When will you ever hear me say that? I will tell you that you can bet the house on this one thing. Somebody will complain when it goes TGE. Somebody will complain when it goes TGE. They're going to sit here and rush Wingbits and say, look, we had enough of waiting. You pushed it back enough. You pushed it back enough. We're waiting for we're ready for TGE. And when it goes TGE and that price drops, here they all come. You should have just waited a little bit longer. You waited this long. Why couldn't you wait longer? If you weren't ready, you should have waited longer. And this is why everybody was saying it should have waited. Like, it's coming. It's coming. This was a rug pull. That's the one right there that's going to get me kicked off YouTube. I can tell you, I can prepare y'all right now. That'll be the YouTube video that I tell y'all is rated R. You have to pass age verification before you watch that video, because I'm going to lose it. Because I know it's coming. Because people don't know what the hell a rug pull is. Rug pull is what happened with Junk Coin and these other ones, Flex, whatever, that takes all the liquidity from a token and closes shop. That's a rug pull. I don't care if they've been in business for a year or two. Before you had the opportunity to take liquidity out and sell, they didn't tell you nothing. They take all the liquidity out, the thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, whatever it was in liquidity. They take it and then tell y'all we're closed. Well, at least Flex had the honor of at least telling y'all that they were, what they said, recouping profits, or they were sick of holding up the token. Did Junk Coin ever come out and say anything? I don't think they did. They just shut down. Hell, I don't even see their Discord anymore. I mean, at least everyone's just pretending like they're still around. So Wingbits is getting closer. They talked about this TGE prep, how they made a mistake when they were trying to figure out tokens. I know we saw a huge jump. I got all excited when all of a sudden I had 2-point-something million tokens of Wingbits. And then I found out it wasn't accurate. So, we talked about that already. They have to be transparent with the UI change per TGB caused quite a bit of confusion. Result resets of claimable and claimed tokens. They have not lost any contribution to. I love these people who come on there and say, I hope you really have a good ledger of what our rewards are, because mine are just so messed up now. No, buddy, they were just sitting there counting on the website. Like, come on, man. We have added a page at Wingbits dashboard TGE. On the dashboard, explain how your rewards will migrate from pre-TGE to post-TGE. We did this with your specific data up to the point of an example TGE launch of February 9th. Obviously, you have earned more since then, but we hope to make these things clearer. The numbers did not reflect the correct balance for those few that participated in early redemption. Uh-oh, that's me. An update will be coming soon to address that on the page. Then the map update, 3D mode. Is anybody, I don't mean this as a negative towards Wingbits. Is anybody asking for 3D mode? Like, what are you doing with 3D mode on mapping? I don't know. Mousing over the craft now shows altitude of craft above mean sea level. So first, if you go to this TGE dashboard, and you log in, you're going to go to a website that's going to explain all this. It tells me that it doesn't matter what you participated in the early community reward redemption program. Your redeemed rewards have been withdrawn, will not be included. The TGE lump sum of daily distribution remaining for TGE. I gotta check this because I should have way more than this. I should have way more than what these two combined. But I'm not gonna panic. Let it all work out. Because I had 1 million before we started. Early redemption with 20% online bonus, 5% lump sum. But anyway, so you can go and see your own numbers and get confused like I am right now. Station deleted. I don't know what the shit that is. But hey, there you go. Go look at it. You can be just as confused as I am right now. I'm gonna have to check into this. I know I got some that I'm splitting with host and all that, but that's only like 4 out of my 15 stations. So we're gonna have to see. Wingbits can't TGE until they fix my off-grid problems. We're gonna talk about mesh in a second. I want to do that last because I'm sure they got half the people gonna leave when we talk about mesh. Anyway, so here you go. I'm gonna have to look into this. I don't understand how that number's even close to being accurate. Unless it's not included bonus, but it says included bonus. Hmm. 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 I'm not gonna hit the panic button just yet. So you also have the map. The map also has this 3D thing. I I okay. I don't know what to say. Cool. Anybody? I picked a bad time to run out of whiskey at my house. I don't know what to say at this point. I really don't. Trying to reserve judgment, trying to keep it real. Maybe this time to talk about mesh, guys. That how about that? No one to complain more than me. We've been on the longest with the least amount of rewards. Saturation, power issues didn't help me earn jack. I told you all this last week, maybe the week before that. I I I seem to be the only one having problems with this. I don't see too many other people complaining about it in the Discord. And honestly, I have not been in their Discord a lot just because I have a lot of stuff going on. I am having hell of a problem keeping my devices online. Um, I got I think 2 or 3 at friends' houses right now. They're all offline. A reboot brings them back for a little while. They're offline again. All jokes aside about there's no such thing as coincidences. Is it coincidental? I'm sure it has to be, right? I mean, you talking about stations that one's in Nevada, one is in Slidell, Louisiana, one is in Canada, one is down the street from my office. So you're talking about completely different ISPs, complete all DIY stations that just happen to be offline. Some I can get to, some I can reboot, some I can do app updates, some don't do nothing. They're completely offline. Could it all be that I have 5 or 6 stations that between me and my friends, the ones that's supposed to, could they all be offline? Coincidentally, DIY stations. I brought it up in the Discord. I look like an ass because I was the only. I had maybe one other guy say that he was having issues also, and it was a little bit different than mine. Again, I'm not saying this is any kind of update from Wingbits. I don't know how many of y'all have DIY stations, but again, completely different parts of the country. So you have different ISPs. They're all DIY stations, different SDRs. Could it be coincidental? Absolutely. I just found it weird. 619 says the colors are cool because knowing all different nights. Okay. Odin says even Deep was down for a couple of days. I think something in the back end was down. But then why not all the stations? Why half my stations are still up? Um, Sometimes a reboot helps. Sometimes like my buddies in Slidell. That's the one of the ones I split with him on that account. He had to physically go unplug it, plug it back in. It worked for 5-10 minutes. It's offline again. But the device is online because I can see it on tail scale. So I haven't really dug into it that much. I don't know. I'm staying positive. I'm staying positive. I'm staying positive. Let me go run the store. Is it Geosonar's DIY? Pies and potatoes can't handle power. They should just make one device SDR with Geosonar. I promise my brain's not rebooting. Because there's part of me that doesn't disagree 100% with that statement, because I have 14 DIY stations myself, then one WB200. My WB200 was offline. Actually, I had to drive out to where it's located, 30 minutes from my office, climb up the pole that it's connected to by my buddy's restaurant on the lake, and had to power cycle it. It's connected with both Ethernet and Wi-Fi. I have it set that way on purpose in case the Ethernet fails on the port that the modem is on for some reason, the router, which can occasionally happen. It can switch over to Wi-Fi. If it's on Wi-Fi and the Wi-Fi goes down for some reason, it can switch over to Ethernet. And for some reason, and it's always stayed like that. When I would do an IP scan of that network, I would see an IP for Wi-Fi and an IP for LAN. So it grabbed IPs from both of them. When I went out there, it showed me offline. Did the IP scan, neither one were online. Had to reboot it. Like I said, but you're right. All these other devices that are offline right now, 619, they're all DIY devices. The one that's at my buddy's house that I split with him, that's a DIY device with a Geosonar. And the best part is some of them are potatoes, some of them are Pi 4s. So that part's different. It's just weird. It's just weird. I'm sure if you go and look at it, and or somebody wants to dig into it and look at the logs, we don't see nothing. I'm sure it's gonna be one of those, and it's all just coincidental. I don't know. But I've always told people those Geosonars, especially like there were some people who were using that reached out to me for help, and they were using PoE splitters, and some of these PoE splitters were 2.5 watts out or amps out or whatever it is, and those definitely took a hit. Geosonars, it could not handle Geosonars with SDRs and stuff like that. I'm sure somebody out there is gonna be like, mine did. Okay, I'm happy for you. My PoE splitters, I've always used the 4 amp versions. Those seem to have handled it well. The new Pi 5s that are complete power hogs, I've never tried it, so I don't know if those would work or not. But yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with TGE. They didn't have any kind of February. They didn't even have a online meeting, whatever you want to call it. I thought they would have, at least on Discord. Hey, it is what it is. They said they're going TGE by the end of the quarter. That's 4 weeks left. And if it doesn't have, it doesn't. I'm besides myself with these points right now. Like y'all can tell. Like I'm hoping there's something wrong. I'm hoping there's something missing. I'm hoping there's a miscalculation, something like that, because I had over $1 million before I took my 300,000. So simple math, even though I failed college, I should be still up there. And you're telling me, I don't know. I'm telling you, I'm not sweating. I'm not sweating it. Let's let's keep going. The 619, let's talk about mesh. We are, I can tell you, down here in Louisiana, we are, I want to say more than quadrupled mesh. We're using this cool ass map, which is getting the info from my tower. So you can see when devices, for those of y'all who do know about this, I'm gonna tell y'all, we had, when I started this, when I started to get involved with Mesh Core in December, maybe, there was nothing here at all, because all these are my stations, are there maybe one or two. You might have one or two here. You had 3 or 4 here, these guys up here, then you had a couple up here also. But we have really branched out. And again, this is only showing what my tower here or my tower here can see. But I had a meeting today with people who are from this entire region, this whole region down here, and all these parishes down here, and they kind of trust me. Silly them, but no, it's a joke. But I basically told them, this is just another tool in the toolbox. We're using it for emergency communications also, in addition to whatever. Told them that you can use it for, confidential encrypted messaging. You can create your own channel. If you want a channel that says, South Louisiana hospitals, and only the hospitals know it, and y'all share that channel between y'all, we will never see it. Anybody else in the mesh will never see it. And, they're all interested. They all want us to go post repeaters now all along the region 3 area, which is all along here, up in here, all in here. And my only question is now, I don't know how we're going to pay for it all, but hey, I'm glad that we got people involved. A lot of them are just friends of mine. They're like, man, we're interested in it. Go ahead and you can go put a repeater up. I'm like, well, thank you. But I'm gonna tell y'all, I know we've talked about mesh and mesh core and meshtastic and stuff like that out here. I don't know how much y'all do or don't know about the service, but without getting into too deep of it, I'm gonna try to put like a simpler to do with them. You have a device, and it might even look like this. And your phone Bluetooths into this device. This device then talks to a repeater somewhere, and then it hops. So if you can see it's a worldwide thing. Look, this is not crypto. That's somebody that asked me that earlier. This is not make. This is strictly a hobby type thing. But you can see the amount of repeaters we're now getting. But basically, if you were in downtown New Orleans for Mardi Gras and wanted to text your buddy that's in Baton Rouge, one of these repeaters would pick it up. It then hops to say this one. It then hops here, then hops here, and then Mount Tall Tower would have it here, and it might hop up here, and then eventually hops into Baton Rouge where your person is monitoring whatever channel that y'all texting on. And that's how it works. It does not rely at all on cellular. So for us down here during hurricane seasons, or what in the last month or two, you've had Verizon go down, AT&T go down, and T-Mobile go down. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a hurricane. If you have, as long as what our plans are, is we're going to have one of these like companion type things in the office, and then we have a repeater on the roof of the office. So therefore, the phone will connect into this, hits the repeater, and off it goes. And that's what I explained today. Like for the hospitals in that region, they are always asking us about alternate communications because they're paranoid as hell now, PTSD almost, with Hurricane Ida, that there were some very medically sensitive, if that's the word, life-threatening patients that could just not be moved. And then Hurricane Ida, which came in, nobody thought it was going to stall. We got pounded for hours with 100-something mile-an-hour winds and lost all communications. And they got scared as hell. So now they got hand repeaters on top of their roofs in case they have to reach out for help during something like that again. And now they're all interested also in mesh. So you start putting some of these devices in and showing them, and they might pay for some. And you put these mesh repeaters on top of a hospital. Well, they got enough hospitals down here that they'll bounce by themselves off of it. And they can, Homeland Security for the state is down here in Baton Rouge. So you hope that you can have enough repeaters that head back to New Orleans, to Baton Rouge, and they can sit there and text back and forth on their confidential encrypted channel. They don't have to worry about HIPAA problems or anything like that. And can talk back and forth. We know we're still building this out, so we know we have a ways to go. Text messaging isn't as fast. We're using slower settings for those who are familiar with that, because we know we don't have the infiltration of whatever word you want to use, enough devices. But like up here, you can be in Oregon. They have so many up here now in this Northwest region. This is kind of like the goal, but they got so many up here now. You can be in Canada texting people in Oregon. No, it's absolutely crazy. There's another map somewhere of the Northwest, but let me see if I can find it. I don't like how Discord hides channels now. You gotta start clicking on crap. I can't find the channel I'm looking for now, and I know it's on here. Where the hell is it at? I don't see their repeater control channel for West Coast Mesh. But there is a mesh analyzer, let's mesh map that will tell you, here you go. So you can see the amount of repeaters they have. So you should be able to be down here, almost into California, and can text mesh core, do 64 hops, and you can get into that area. You have California doing the same thing. I can see at some point them trying to link these two together if they haven't already. But I think what's amazing is you can sit here and watch. If y'all can see it, if it's big enough, I'm not even on the right screen. This is what I was talking about. This is the amount of stations they currently have in the Northwest. And when you look at these packets and somebody sends it, you can actually see how many times it's being heard. Look at it like jump up. This is how many stations have heard it. And I think that's utterly crazy. Like when somebody's sending a text, that's how many of these mesh stations are hearing it. So, y'all know I always joke that I had 4 hours of sleep every night. So, I can do something productive in them 4 hours. So now it's mesh. It's just that I can only pay for so many stations, and I know there's more stations that get put up, and we need to get on some. We have one agency that has a 700-foot tower that's going to let us get up almost to the top of that. My tower climber is busy until April, so now it's going to kill me for a month, because that's going to open up a whole huge portion of the area, state, whatever you want to call it. And now we're stuck. So, have you done any MQQT installs? So on Meshtastic, I have a Meshtastic repeater up on my tower, but then I also have on the bottom of the tower, I have a Meshtastic MQQT that is going straight Wi-Fi into my tower on my network, the same network I run like Wingbits and stuff on. And that is then hitting other Meshtastic devices. And I also run it through proxy on my phone. So I have in my truck, I have a Meshtastic and a Mesh Core client or companion, as Mesh Core calls it. I run Mesh Core on one so I can keep up with it. I run Meshtastic on the other one. And, and so Meshtastic is running proxy over the cell phone, that little device. So any Meshtastic that it's connecting to is pushing MQTT back and forth, or whatever it is. Cloud says doing it because of Hurricane Ida. And that's one reason I'm in it too, because, a lot of the what we call MCOM, the emergency communications people, they're putting a hell of a lot of faith in Starlink. And look, I'm not gonna say Starlink is gonna fail, but you never know when Elon's gonna get pissed at Democrats and turn off half of satellites. I joke, but Starlink went down once, at least as far as I know, once. It could be more than that. And people lost their other minds because they thought Starlink can't go down. I don't know what the hell's going on. These people are losing their minds. I saw people on Facebook losing their minds. So what worries me is all of South Louisiana, and you look at this map, and look, even my where I work at, we the same thing. We have a mobile command post, got Starlink on it. And we have on our buildings, we have backup Starlink. But my thing is, when you have all these agencies down, like, we had some communication failure here, but basically you could draw a circle or a line basically like right here. And part of, I don't know how far Baton Rouge went up, but I know Ascension had it, but basically and come down here. But all these towns you see, all these cities you see, look, you got universities down here. You have Houma, which is one of the bigger cities in Louisiana. People don't realize that, with 100% communications failure. That's no internet, no fiber, no cellular, nothing. And you can't do smoke signals because the wind's so bad you can't see the smoke. And what I'm getting at is now you have all these agencies down here that all have Starlink, several Starlink. Then that's not include all the people who own Starlink. I don't think Starlink has been tested yet at that kind of capacity to be turned on for all these people at the same time. So when we have it's not if, it's when. Let's be honest. It could take another 5-10 years. I could be retired and be done and be in my compound with all my land somewhere and all my miners. But at some point, you're going to have another cellular complete comms failure. Everybody's going to rely on Starlink. Hopefully, Starlink stays up. But what you can do if it doesn't? Then you're back to nothing. So hopefully you're Meshtastic or you mesh in Meshtastic. You can't even really rely on Meshtastic. And I know this in some of these in these Facebook groups and even in Discords, these dual Discords that are Meshtastic and Mesh Core. Dude, these are like y'all. So for y'all who have watched my videos long enough to know I talk about gang wars with crypto, with Cardano versus XRP, and these people think it's, and I try to just tell everybody we all need to be on the same team, whatever like that. Well, just like ham radio has people who are pro code and non-code people, or DMR digital or POTA people, and other people hate it, thinking it's fake, it's not real ham. You got the same thing in Mesh Core, Meshtastic, where I tell them it's two completely different applications. With Meshtastic, you're only getting 7 hops. So it's made to be more of a closer knit, kind of a closer knit thing. I'm trying to get to the. So this is the Mestastic map, but these are connected through MQQT, which is internet. But my point is, you see, like you have all these. If you're here trying to send a message to over here, and it does 7 hops, you're done. Where with Mesh Core, we're allowed 64 hops. So you can easily go here and go through here and route it all through here and still have plenty of hops left. So your Mesh Core is made for longer messaging, and that's how I explained today. Meshtastic is made for local. When my son and I went hunting, we went hunting in North Louisiana. There's no cell phone service. Meshtastic can go radio to radio. You don't need a repeater. So I'm on my phone with Meshtastic. My son is 800 yards away in the woods with Meshtastic, and we're texting back and forth with no problem. He about craps himself because he sees a bear. Hey, if I saw a black bear and I'm ground hunting, I'd be a little worried too. I would have had no idea if it wasn't for Meshtastic. He would have been starting to head towards me while it's still daylight, and I'd be wondering what the hell's going on. But luckily, he's like, there's a bear 80 yards in front of me, a black bear, and I'm going to slowly start slipping up behind this tree and start coming towards you. And I said, no problem. I'm headed towards you. And luckily, we had no problems. But I would not have known that with Meshtastic. With Mesh Core, we would have needed a repeater to a point. There is some direct messaging available back and forth. But my point is, Meshtastic is also good. They have ATAC. If any of y'all are familiar with ATAC, with the search and rescue stuff, with SWAT teams and with search and rescue and that kind of stuff like that. That's all on Android. I don't have a fake iPhone, so I've never played with it. But they both got their pros and minuses, pluses and minuses. I don't think it needs to be this big fight, but you got people who are trying to convince Meshtastic guys to come to Mesh Core, and when they don't want to do it, they get butthurt. You have people who get insulted that they keep getting asked to go from Meshtastic to Mesh Core, so they make comments, and I'm like, just stop. You know, that's kind of my overall thing. So, like, I'm building repeaters, which are basically just basic boxes from Amazon, your basic outdoor box. Nothing different than what we're really putting Wingbits devices in, like DIY devices in or something like that. You're putting a Pi with either a Pi hat with 915 LoRa or getting one of the smaller ESP32 type of radios. Y'all seen videos of me putting it together. I released videos of me putting it together. So y'all can kind of see what the inside looks like. And that was us installing, me installing. Actually, I think it's the one that went by my house. What you're starting to see now, kind of like with some of the same problems we saw with D-Pen, is now I try to buy, or like I built one for my buddy to put up on the North Shore, and he basically pays me cash. So I bought a couple of each thing a while back. I put it together for him, give it to him. He bought his own antenna. He gives me $120 cash. I go home, I deposit the $120 cash, and I'm buying all this stuff again. So, they're not that hard to put together. The longest thing is I'm soldering the connectors for the V4 Health Tech board onto the battery or to solar. That's what takes the most time. And it's funny, like I said in the video, is we have slowly changed how we're building these stations. I was following with some people on Facebook and Discord, and those groups are saying how they put the antenna on top of the board so that they have the shortest jumper from the board, because these things are only 3.25 watt, and putting the board on top, where now I'm like, screw it. I'm putting it on the bottom because I'm too worried about moisture and having an issue with moisture. So, but I'm using an LMR 400. It's not that bendable, but it is what it is. LMR 400, just short, like 18 inches to go to the antenna now. So we've tweaked, at least I have tweaked things a little bit. If it's just going right here in the back of my house on the fence or wherever I put it on this little tower behind me, I'm building it one way. I'm also building a box for this tower in north on the North Shore of the lake, going up 600 feet. I need it to last for a long time. So I'm using a much more rugged box, and I'm building it a little bit different, inside a little bit different things to kind of tweak it, a certain way. Um, Again, it's just, what the hell's one more hobby? What else? 619, they got guys in the Discord, Louisiana one, that talk also about the solar nodes and stuff like that. The box I use, y'all saw, that's a $22 box. And it's even a reason I like that one compared to some of the other cheaper ones on Amazon is if you look close. I wish I had one with me. One's in my truck. But there's actually where the door closes, there's actually a lip. Like if this is the back of the box, there's a lip that comes over it. So when you close the door, you know, this is the front of the box on this side. This is the back of the box. Like I said, the back of the box has a lip that comes over it. When you close the door, there's actually a lip that will stop the rainwater and stuff from hitting the top of that door. I just think it's a cool little added feature. What the issue I'm having with those boxes are, they are very thin plastic. We had several days where you had 30-degree mornings, literally 60 to 70-degree days, or 40-degree mornings and 70-degree days. And I had a box that didn't even have a top on it, no antenna port on the top of it, nothing. And when I opened that door, I could have caught all the water that was coming out of it. It has strictly from I think the humidity change, pressure change, whatever change you want to talk about, and um that condensation inside. The boxes that we use at work. That's why I can never be accused of using boxes from work, because the boxes we use from work are these either fiberglass or this ABS plastic that is literally about this thick, where those ones I'm using for these devices are this thick. But these big ones, baby, because they're so thick, I don't have to deal with condensation. I have never, with the 500 cameras that I deal with at work, I have never seen moisture inside these boxes unless something happened to cause moisture. So what we do now, we put drain holes in them. I showed you all that in the video. Um, some people swear by those little silica packs. Some people don't like them because they think they absorb like a sponge. I disagree with that. I've had to put some in some boxes that had some moisture issues with like other things we were dealing with, not cameras. And I've seen them where they got soaking wet and they didn't soak up like a sponge. It's I don't know. I did recently buy some venting plugs from Amazon that somebody suggested to me. I had another guy saying they're not worth the shit because when he tried to he installed one and put water in the bottom of the box. The venting allows air to go, but for some reason, when they put water in it, the valve stopped the water and held the water in. I don't know. I don't know. Um, the little vent things were like a couple of dollars for a bag of two. Hell, I'll try anything once in some builds, especially if it's a build that I'm putting up that's not actually for somebody. I'm not that worried about it. Yeah, but the guy's 58 hops away. Else need to know about the bear. 58 hops away is halfway past the state, but I think what's cool is we are slowly trying to I don't know what, like this is like, I get involved in these new hobbies like this, especially with deep pin and crypto being so boring right now. Think about it. Like, since last week, what's happened in crypto? Other than a little bit of thing with Wingbits that's got me all perturbed right now. I'm trying to not think about it. Crypto's like just on this cruise control, sometimes up, sometimes down. So like, hey, this is keep my mind off of it. I get involved in so many things, and then 6 months from now it'll be a new hobby. This is kind of like ham. Me putting ham repeaters up all over the place and linking them. This project I have where I came up with this project on my own where I'm linking ham repeaters all across the Gulf Coast, Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas. I don't even use them. I enjoy the fact of putting this stuff together. Nobody was doing it before, and people are being use it. And I enjoy listening to the fact that when I hear people using my repeater system, people who are in Baton Rouge talking to people in New Orleans and that kind of stuff like that, I think that's cool as hell. But I'm not talking to people. I'm grumpy. Like, I'm not personal. And it's the same thing with this shit. Like, I'm all about coming in, helping them out, and building this plan out. And eventually, we're working on a repeater here. I'm working on a repeater here, which I was hoping my one right here on Fort Pike or Fort Macomb would be able to hit. I don't know if it's gonna hit or not, because until we get a repeater here and a repeater here, this is all water. Like, it looks like marsh because it's a map, but majority of this is water. I think it's gonna be exciting to be able to start to push this out of state. There's a bunch of guys that have stations here in Lafayette. I think it's gonna be cool once we can link it. This is all swamp on I-10. If any of y'all have driven here before, we're not getting a link through here. So now we gotta come and plan out a link like this. It takes money, takes effort, it takes you knowing somebody put it up there. I think that's cool to build out. You're seeing way more text right now. Like earlier today, I was in a meeting. I didn't look at it all. Next thing you knew, it was like 24 texts going through between these guys. Where before, you barely had 2 or 3 in hours because they still couldn't talk. So the ham. We had a ham meeting up here with the ham, this ham club that's up here in North Hammond, and they all fell in love with it. And these guys live all here through the top of the state. They all got 100-foot towers in the backyard. They all want to help us expand. We just need money to get it done. My goal, what I would love is, this is my hunting lease up here, and I'm hoping that we can eventually get it spread. They got some guys with stations already here, so if we can we got a 400-foot tower coming in right here. So I'm hoping that we can start hitting into here, or put something here to eventually push this way. Like I said, like you can see, we have a lot of crap going on. A lot of crap going on. Hey, some people in our Discord have helped with donations and helped put stuff forward, that kind of deal like that. And some people look. I hate asking for anything. If anybody ever knows me in real life, I don't like asking for anything. This is one of the things that I know it's not going to succeed if we don't get some help. So I'm kind of asking for the group, but at the same time, somebody and look, trust me, with me right now, my daughter's got $2,000 worth of damage to her car, still ain't fixed all of it yet. I got hunting lease dues next month. I don't have a lot of money to put towards it, and it shouldn't be up to me or 2 or 3 other people to do this. Other people want to use this network. They came on this network to be able to do this stuff. The point should be, part of me says they should be able to help out if you want to expand it, but the other part of me says I would part of me says I would say bullshit. Like, me joining MeshCore didn't mean that I was going to sit there and start giving y'all $100 for devices either, or to help put repeaters up. So that's my spiel on Let's Talk Mesh. And maybe I'll give y'all a little update. I went from 20 plus people watching, down to 9, which is basically that's why I talked about this last, because I figured majority of people ain't gonna be interested in this kind of stuff. It's not crypto related. You're not gonna make money with it. It's gonna cost you money. Depending on where you live at, I think it could be a cool tool. Some people ain't worried about that kind of stuff. My hope is that one day, I don't think it's gonna be from crypto now. I thought it was gonna be from crypto. Apparently, looking at this crap I just saw, it ain't gonna be from Wingbits either. I can't tell you how fucking disgusted I am. Right? I'm sorry. Now y'all got me cursing. Now I know it's time to end this live. But my hope is that land up here, for what 2 acres cost around here where I'm living, literally, I'm not joking with y'all. What 2 acres cost down here in this upper part of Louisiana, I can get 75 to 100 acres. If I go into Mississippi right here, especially almost where I'm hunting at. They got some gorgeous houses on some. I can get even bigger stretches of property, 150 acres for what it costs for literally 2 acres down here. But my wife says she can't live in Mississippi. I don't know why, but I think part of it is the umbilical cord doesn't stretch that far back to mama. And I can say that crap because she don't watch my live. So it is what it is. Yeah. The vetting plus you look up a link to one people say works in Discord. If you build a Jeep so that I can ask. Cheaper if you bought a battery to cut down shipping costs. Let's see if I can find that. That's the first one that came up. All right, 619. This one's just for you. Now I'm gonna tell y'all, pictures don't do this thing justice. Even these fingers are bigger than what they appear, but these things are small. They're probably a little bit even smaller than the thumb. Like, but you can see like they do have these vent holes in it. Professional grade protection. So they do have like this little filter. So it's a vent. I don't know, man. Like I said, I bought 2 packs of them. They're $6 a piece. Bought 2 packs. That's 4. I'll put them in a box. Hell, I might put 2 in a box. 2 in a box. I don't know. And see if it makes a difference. What's the worst that's gonna happen? Again, the boxes I've been using from Elcom that are much thicker, we try to make those as airtight as possible, and we have no issues with moisture. When I tried building the identical box using these ones from Amazon, they're not airtight. They're got moisture issues and all kinds of stuff like that. Um, and you look at them, and there's only $1 price difference between a box that's much bigger. What I'm using on all mine is these 8x6. These back hinges suck. I mean, y'all saw the video. I don't have to rehash all this stuff. But like you go back to, I saw one just now that was like, 11 by 7 by 9, and it's not the one I originally saw. Okay, 11.27 by 5, and it's only $22. But you don't need the box that big. The box I'm using now, you could almost probably go smaller. You could probably go even to this 5x5 box if you really wanted to. I might need to look at those. But that one says I didn't buy anything since 21. Oh, I'm using gratuity boxes. This is what I've been using. But you can see up here, they got this lip that comes over the top, like I was telling you. They all about the same. They got the same damn ugly hinges on the back. Ooh, what else? What else? What else? Calypso is a great box. I jump between Calypso is what I bought for helium. They lasted through hurricanes. Hurricane, I just told you, 100-mile-an-hour winds. unless the whole pole was gone, those Calypsos stayed dry the whole time with 100-mile-an-hour winds, raining, beating down. And we had, I know I keep telling this over and over, but we had Hurricane Ida stall. It jacked my house up, jacked it up. And it stalled with 100-mile-an-hour gust, 80-mile-an-hour sustained winds. I had, what I told you, 20, 30 helium miners out at that point, and they were all in boxes like this. And those Calypso, I had some Calypso and some of these other ones, Couture store, whatever. They all worked, brother. They all worked. All right, 619, you send me a um you send me a link to your $5 solar light. Because either way, you got to put a battery in it. And I'm using 10,000 milliamp batteries. So I'd like to see those batteries. I'd like to see those batteries fit in those solar panels, whatever, or what size batteries they're using in those solar lights. If they're using the 18650, if I can swap it out for a bigger battery. Because I am paranoid that we have had, because I've been, I hate to use the word inventing, but you'd be surprised how many few camera solutions, like straight camera, always running, watching a roadway or watching certain area, solar only with battery, made to stay up. Not hey, we're gonna put this up for 5 days and take it down, the battery dies, but stay up. We have 3 or 4 gloomy days in a row sometimes down here. It'll rain for 3 or 4 days in a row, and it kills batteries. So that's why I've had to oversize my solar panels. Even when look, I only put mesh-tastic repeaters up in my area because my guys at work are using mesh-tastic, and they keep telling me we're about to start using ATAC, but only in my work area, because work's paying for some of those materials, am I putting mesh-tastic up. Everywhere else you see on these maps, outside of my work area, is mesh core. Only mesh core. So I'm putting mesh core, like I showed y'all at the end of that video I did. I know it's long. Could not believe how long it was. But anyway, mesh core is one radio with a 10,000 milliamp battery, but I still upsized that solar panel to 10 watts to overkill. We had a gloomy day today because it kept looking like it's going to rain. And I said, and actually where my meeting was, I have a mesh core right around the corner. So man, it's been gloomy all day. It's at 100%, 100%, because it has a 10 watt. Now I remotely got into my one by my lake that has a 6 watt, and it's at 92%. So it goes to show you that, like, again, we learn that with these cameras we're dealing with, that and look, you know that. I mean, I should be telling you nothing about solar. You're the one that told me about solar with all these stations you got all over the world. Middle of bum freak Egypt, China. So I'm gonna tell you right now, I am until something comes out that is way more reliable, and like Cloud says with these new solar ones I'm a huge V4 fan. I have tried the rack. I've had more racks lock up, more racks fail. Right now, every one of my mesh core repeaters, I think I got 15 out personally. I've had one lockup. I'm hoping to go to tomorrow and figure out what's wrong with it. One lockup. Other than that, I've never had a V4. Racks, I've had nothing but issues with them. The rack, all in one board, whiz block, whatever you want to call it. And I got 2 or 3 of them all messed up that are sitting on my desk that I'll never use again. And I'm a V4 fan. V4 screenless, like I showed y'all in that video, because screenless takes less power. And then supposedly they got a new power saving thing with this firmware. Look, Cloud knows way more about this crap than I do. She basically runs this whole Discord for Mesh in Louisiana and the servers, and writing her own code and stuff, and I'm still trying to figure out how to root into a pie. So that's mesh. I don't know what we can do for fundraising. What kind of what this stuff kind of is. I don't see getting, I've had several people ask me about grants. I just got a $500,000 grant for Motorola radios for work. You're not getting a grant for this stuff. It's hard to explain, but you're not. So basically it's on us. And for the 12 people watching this, the 3 people who came in here just now thinking they were coming into a crypto stream and we talking about mesh, like, I have a guy who got was getting into this. He got one for himself and he's getting one for his daughter. I'll tell you all the time about my friend who lost his daughter. It was horrible. Car crash, coming home from college. She was a freshman. Girl goes to church, God loving, didn't drink, didn't party, didn't do any of that kind of stuff. Hit by an 18-wheeler and doesn't make it. And he's so paranoid now about his other daughter. So he's so worried about these cellular failures. And I'm like, he's kind of like starting like some of this prepper type stuff. He knows about those circles. And I'm like, dude, this texting is the perfect thing for you, especially once we get Slidell, that corner ways that is really, really established. If you have 100% cellular failure, as long as your daughter has her little card with her that will connect into her phone, and she should know. I mean, y'all discuss it. Y'all have a plan. Hey, we have a cellular failure. Make sure you have your thing Bluetooth in. Y'all can text back and forth and F AT&T or T-Mobile. He has Verizon actually, which is shit around here. I know some of y'all think Verizon is the greatest thing in the world. I see y'all tell, but in South Louisiana, Verizon is straight dog shit. One of my very, very good friends is the engineer for Verizon in the South Louisiana area, and he even says, I don't say what he says because you never know who from Verizon might be watching this, and I don't want to get him in trouble. But anyway, my other buddy, his cousin, is really into. He has jumped down this paranoia whole Candace Owens and all this other crap thing, and what's really happening. And it's like, and he's the one that has building in Gulfport. But those are 2 guys I have these other Wingbit stations with. That we started the helium thing with. But same thing with Gulfport. He has a house in Gulfport. It's raised up because of water, flood levels and stuff. He wants to put a station up, but like I told him, you're not gonna be able to text New Orleans or Slidell or Baton Rouge until. And then I had to explain to him why his daughter lives in New York. Brother, you're not texting her in New York. I'm sorry. Your best bet is to pay for satellite phones for both of y'all. But you can text your family and friends in New Orleans. Once we get another 1 or 2 repeaters up between, and he's willing to let us put one up in Gulfport. He's even willing to buy the stuff. But it takes you getting that infrastructure in, changing the speeds up to make it go a little faster. Right now, you send a text and you have to sit there because we have slower speeds on. So you have to sit there and wait for an acknowledgement. You don't know if you hit a repeater or not. You press send it again because you didn't think you hit a repeater. Then all of a sudden it says the first message did hit a repeater. So now you just flooded the room twice with messages, and it's got some stumbling blocks, but I think we'll make it. V4 is only like $5 more. It's not bad. I'll probably use that since the NRF chip's still going to take a week to ship. But I'm telling you now, you got to watch V4s because Amazon just got V4s in. So they've kind of caught up a little bit. But last week when we were putting orders in on Amazon for V4s, it said it was going to take 2 to 3 weeks to come in. So I even bought the V4s with that's the 10-watt panels I'm buying. But see, they recently restocked them. So if you order one right now for $22, you get it March 1st. But for a while, this was like 3 weeks out. So I was getting for $3 more the pre-soldered headers, which was coming in about 2 days, and I just wasn't worried about the pins on the bottom. So I just bought another one of these today. It's supposed to be delivered actually Friday at my office. I ordered it first thing this morning because I wish I had money to buy more. I don't, because like I said, you're not only buying that, but you're buying the box for $22. The the solar for $22. You're buying a battery for $22. You got to buy the connectors. So you're buying some of this stuff. We didn't even talk about antennas yet. Antennas are all over the place, and y'all know how I feel about antennas. Y'all been with me long enough with Wingbits and helium and everything else, and luckily, it kills me to do it that I'm finally pulling the plug on helium after 5 years. I told y'all how much I relied on it during Hurricane Ida. I feel like I'm turning my back on a family member in need or cheating on my wife or something. But those layered FG9026 antennas that I fought against people constantly with helium, and that I was hitting stations in New Orleans from Laplace and stuff, they work great on mesh core. So every time I see a helium station go offline, I don't bother dealing with it. I just go out there, yank from the hostess house. I'm like, thanks for playing along. Yank an antenna out. Then I also get a sense cap back or a rack back or whatever device it is. So I can use that pie out that device. And slowly but surely, my helium, I went from 20 something stations down to, I think I got maybe 11 or 12 helium stations left. Where y'all know from watching my Monday videos all the time, at one time I still had 15, 16, 17 stations. And when I have another, I'm not putting those layers on all my mesh, absolutely not, or my mesh core installs, but like this 700-foot tower that we about to do, let's get in one. We have one in New Orleans East, close to where there's a NASA at. We tried putting one of those Regan or Reagan antennas on there. Absolute crap. I will never take another one even for free. I'm putting a layer there because I'm trying to hit close to the Mississippi. But the ones that I'm filling in my area, I'm putting much cheaper antennas on it. The $40 and $50 Amazon ones. So 619. I think somebody PM'd you to trigger me on that. Dude, the West Coast loves alpha antennas. The West Coast loves alpha antennas. In flat land, when you're trying to hit stations at the same height, you can take those alpha antennas and shove them up D-Fly's ass. That's how good they are. The studies with those alpha antennas have showed that if this is the antenna, the RF does not come out the sides like it's supposed to. They come up at a 10 o'clock and a 2 o'clock direction. So people in California swear and think alpha's antennas are created by God himself. But it's because of the lobes of the RF that are going to hit building tops or they're going to hit mountain tops. They have some great range with them. I'll give it to them. But I'm telling you, I had 4 or 5 of my original stations around my area, all around 30, 40 feet in the air. Some were a mile apart, some were 2 miles apart, some were a little over 2 miles apart. And none of them could hit each other. None of them. I had the device on top of the box, bottom of the box, because in my parish, I'm running both mesh attached and mesh core, and I had alphas on top. I'm telling you, I bought 10 alphas out the box. 10 alphas. Because everybody said how great they were. I had them on top of the box, bottom of the box. Mesh core and mesh tastic, none of them could hit each other. So me, being more of a mesh core fan, I went, got some other antennas, started swapping them out. Bing Fu antennas and Signal Plus antennas and stuff. And when I started swapping those out, all those stations can connect to each other. Imagine that. But people swear. Look, they have great SWR, but I've told people, and one of the first Monday, we do a meeting every Monday night on Discord with our mesh Discord, kind of coordinate stuff, talk about stuff. You know, people ask questions. And I told them on one of the first ones that I was in there, not to sound cocky, but I said, they were talking about, man, this antenna has a great SWR. SWR don't mean shit. SWR means that it's tuned properly, that the power you're sending in has less, the better the SWR, the less reflective you're getting back. I guarantee you, if I put this back scratcher extended a certain thing, at some point I can find a frequency that it will be tuned at. Do you think it's gonna be worth the shit though? No, it ain't gonna penetrate getting out this room. Because if it was, think about it. An alpha antenna might be a 0.1. It's like 1.03 to 1 SWR on this alpha. The layers are like a 1.09, which is still under 1.1, a 1.1 to 1 SWR, which is still spectacular. But the alpha is only a couple of dB. That layered is a 9 dB or 8 dB, and the layered's going to get you quadruple the distance. How? They both have the same SWR almost, right? Get what I'm saying? Like, you have these people like in these Facebook groups. I feel like I'm in helium started over. I'm in Groundhog Day. I'm in helium all over. Oh, this antenna is great. I measured it on my what the hell is this? My little Pi VSWR thing or whatever the hell that thing is, Vano or whatever. And it's got a 1.0 whatever, but I can't hit shit. Well, it goes to show you that SWR don't mean nothing. It means that at the very least, at least the company did a good job tuning that device. Hell, one of the Signal Pluses that I have out is one of my top probably 3 performing antennas. And it also had one of the highest SWRs out of all the ones I tested. It wasn't over a 2, but it was like a 1.8 maybe. I'd have to go back and look at the Discord. It ain't about SWR. Radiation, and I was telling you, the old wise men thing that people used to tell me, the longer it is, the more capture area it's got. And people were like, oh, just because it's short, it can still be at 8 dBi. That shit, it can. Oh, I hate 619. You really are trying to trigger me. You really are trying to trigger me. I'm not gonna allow you. I'm gonna pray to Jesus. But I've always said that stupid image that's been shared since the helium days, the stupid image of a 9 dBi goes out like this, a 6 dBi goes out like this, and a 3 dBi is like this, and it shows you the 9 dBi on top of a building, and the whole city's not covered at all because the 9 dBi is going out to the country. They need to take that image and ban it from every edge of the Facebook world or internet world. I have on a tower at 420 feet a 8 dBi antenna for mesh core. Used to be for helium. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I've never stood directly under the tower. But I'm telling you, I could be about 200 feet off of the tower, less than 100 yards. Again, this thing's 400 feet up, 400 feet up. And my device, handheld, can hit the mesh core device 9 dBi. How's that possible? Because if that image was correct, that RF's going straight out and straight out. I shouldn't be able to hit that like this if that image is correct, because it ain't like that. I understand what they're trying to tell people. 9 dBi does go out further and has less RF locally. A 3 dBi is going to be more RF locally, and it's not going to have this long range. Because sometimes people create radio systems and stuff, cellular stuff, whatever, they don't want these long range. Me, I'm not putting 3 dBi on anything. Now, I've used some antennas from Amazon for this that look like 3 dBi, and they swear there's 5, 7, or 9 dBi, which I know is full of shit. But same thing with helium. I had helium stationed on top of each other. I got one at 400 feet, and I got one that was whatever the next hex over was, but it wasn't that far. And them two witnessed each other all day and all night. But if you look at that image, I shouldn't be able to hit anything. Dude, this back scratchers. This is of all the socks and underwear. No, that's what dads get for Christmas and Father's Day. What it is, look, I know this is TMI and I'm fat and sloppy. My grandpa used to do it. My dad did it, but I always have my back. I don't know if my back's issues or whatever like that, but I need to either rub it sometimes or scratch it. I don't have a big hairy back or something like that, but I'll find the edge. We have 2 or 3 edges, where the wall meets another wall, and I'll scratch my back with it. And my wife will freak the F out. Like she just thinks it's the most grossest nasty. I'm like, my back is you ain't gonna want to itch it. So that's what my kids got me, is like 2 years ago was my back scratcher. And this is kind of like how the ADD, ADHD kids have to have something in their hands, when they don't take the Adderall in school. This is my ADHD tool. Yes, this is my ADHD tool. And it's an ADHD tool that really does make a good back scratcher. If I can flip it around the right way. Yeah, see? It does work good. I'm going to tell you what else it does. This is the most laziest thing of all, is I have my light right here, and it's a fan with a light. So it has the little things that hang, and it perfectly fits right above the thing that hangs. So I can just sit right here, and I can turn my light on. I don't have to get up, man. And I got my fan. If I want to, I can turn my fan on. I got this gigantic super GPU, fancy ass 4890 or 49, whatever it is, GPU in here. And it gets hot in this room. So I can sit right here and just turn my fan on. So see, this is a multi-purpose tool. Very multi-purpose. Like a bear. It is like a bear. And my wife, oh God, she hates it. And I'm like, it's not like I paid extra for the paint that we have in this wall. We learned when we had kids. So I'm not peeling the paint off. It's not like I'm cracking the drywall or anything like that, but I gotta scratch my back. And I just scratch my back, and she hates it. She hates it. She can hear me doing it from the bedroom in the evening. She's like, "Are you scratching the back of my fucking walls?" No, I don't know what that is. It must be a mouse in the wall or something. If you have nodes, antennas don't really matter. I agree with you, but right now we don't have enough nodes, because the biggest thing we're aiming for, we want to do, is make this thing faster. We have bumped up our SF and I forget the CR numbers to get slower but more further back. I don't know. So anyway, what's my ISP about my radio system? Anything else? What else? That's it. 9 o'clock. I'm going to bed earlier. I'm trying not to. Fluffy, for those of y'all, I always talk about Fluffy. One day I'll have him back on the YouTube just so y'all know who the hell I'm talking about. Mr. Bitcoin Maxi himself. He loved helium when helium was good. Then he took his Bitcoin Maxi hat off for a little while for helium, made some pretty decent money. And then once helium was done, he put his shit back on. I think he's got 2 Wingbit stations. But Fluffy's out of town for work stuff, so we haven't been playing Call of Duty at night till 12. We ain't playing late tonight. We're just gonna play 2 or 3 games. Next thing you know, 12:30. I'm like, mother fricker, it happened again. So I've actually been able to go to bed at a decent time. I've actually made it to work on time at 8 a.m. for the last 2 or 3 mornings in a row. That's probably why we had this late cold front come in. but I go to work a couple minutes late because I stay literally an hour over almost every day trying to catch up. I get more work done at from 4 to 5 p.m. when there's no phone calls, nobody's panicking about something. Somebody didn't break something in their cars, their cradle points, their radios. I get more done literally between 4 and 5 than half of the day at work. You want me to really catch up? I'll go to work on Saturday, not even get paid, just for my own stress and just working there and just for 3 or 4 hours, and I get a week's worth of shit accomplished because nobody knows I'm there and nobody's calling me. Every now and then, the dispatchers will see my truck parked there, then they call me like, "Hey, we see you here today. One of the buttons popped off on the keyboard, or the USB came unplugged, but it's under the console. We can't reach it." I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going home." Other than a layered, what's a good tower type antenna? I don't know about tower type, but I'm gonna tell you, my if money's not an object, not I'll say money's not an object, but somewhat not an object, and you didn't want to pay $250 for a layered, the next go to is the Comet K20 K40 antenna. I forget what one it is, which is 950 megahertz. Some great results. My first, which is basically the same exact thing as the Diamond BC 920. My first helium, the one that made $5,000 in 17 days. If you haven't heard that story before, my first helium was on a, because that's all I knew back then, was Diamond, because of ham stuff. Diamond BC 920 in New Orleans, and connected to the only 7 or 8 stations that were in New Orleans, all over the place. And the BC 920 and the Comet K20, K40, whatever it is basically clones of each other. Cannot find a diamond. If I could find a diamond for a decent price, I'd probably would buy one. Um, you can't find them anywhere. They're back ordered to like April on all these websites. Um, Comets, I found them on Antenna Farm and one or two other places. They want way too much for shipping, but I'm sure they're out there somewhere. But even those are getting very hard. I think people are using those for mesh stuff. But the I built the station for the guy, like I just told you, the one that paid me money and everything. He bought his own antenna. He's a ham dude. He found a Comet from somewhere. Shipping wasn't bad. He got one. Washington Parish EOC is putting a mesh on their tower, mesh core. This is all mesh core. At about 350, 400 feet, they're buying their own Comet. So they're putting Comets on these towers. I will tell you, we lost Comets on our EOC tower that was only about 200 foot tall during Hurricane Ida at 100-mile-an-hour winds. The wind load's supposed to be a little bit more for that, and snapped them all. Not all of them. Not all of them. I take that back. We have about 4 or 5 of them. I think 1 or 2 might have survived. But still, if it's not a layered, the next one up, like I said, is Comet. Then after that, it's a crapshoot. A lot of them are the same, different colors, Chinese clones. Signal Plus. I, the Man Shack repeater I have that basically everything from Baton Rouge can hit, which is a 30-mile shot, 20, 30-mile shot. In New Orleans can hit, which is 20, 30-mile shot over water, is using a Signal Plus, maybe the 8 or 10 dBi antenna. The reason I get scared recommending that one is when you look on Amazon and you see the Signal Plus 915 antennas and you can click on the different dBis, each dBi looks completely different. The labels are different. The designs are different. Even though they're all Signal Plus branded antennas, they're all different. Where I know this one works, I'm scared to recommend any other ones. That's a very long, yeah. Comet KP20. Estimated ship date, March 17th. My next one is the Comet. I'm sorry, the Signal Plus. That would have to be my next one. Sometimes you can find them. Sometimes you can find them without the cable. The cable's crap at 9 to 15 megahertz. Um, this 15 dBi one is like 9 foot long or something stupid. It's stupid. Um, I have it on top of a building. I find it's not worth $159. Not worth $159. It's 10 dBi. There is a, but you see, I say how I tell you, like, do you have an 8 dBi? Look how this looks completely different. Looks like a completely different antenna. Um, and then you can't even, like, these are now currently unavailable. I'm saying mesh is getting very popular, and you're gonna start seeing issues getting antennas. Um, you there's one. I want to say it's a Bing Fu. I've used a couple of those. I don't think they're the greatest in the world, but they're not bad either. Um, this one, not the best, not the worst, average, decent. 5.8 dBi at 31 inches, probably close to 5.8. Um, I think if they wouldn't come with all this crappy antenna, I mean, wire. I have piles of this wire now. These spools like this. I'm not using them for Wingbits. I'm not using them for this project because at 950 megahertz, it's way too much loss. Way too much loss. So I throw it in the junk bin and wait till, because like if you needed this for mast chain with VHF, this is perfect feed line. Not that much loss, especially if you know how to solder. I'd cut it in half, put a new connector on the end of it, and it'd be even less loss. Libra, turn the page. Do you ground your box? What? Not on Meshtastic because they're not hooked to nothing. They are they're not hooked to my electrical grid. They're not hooked to networking. They're not hooked to anything. Now, my one on the tower is running a Pi in a box with a 1 watt Pi hat. It booms, and that is grounded like you would not believe. The antenna is grounded with a professional tower R56 rated grounding requirement or whatever. The box and the brackets are all grounded. The feed line has a ground tap on top, ground tap all the way in the bottom before it enters my building, and that one is. But on my normal Meshtastic installs on top of like a building or something, they're not, because they're not wired to go into anything. Am I gonna sit and tell you that, kind of like this is not financial advice? It is. Am I gonna sit and tell you that it's safe and because it's not wired or anything, you're never gonna get struck by lightning? No. But if you get struck by lightning, I've told people this all the time. You get struck by lightning with a device like this, or even a helium device, or even a Wingbits or mesh cord, mesh tap. I'm getting them all confused. Mass chain devices, 4D Sky device. A direct lightning strike, you just pray for the best. You can be grounded all you want, and that lightning's still gonna find wherever it wants to go. People call it lightning protection, but grounding is basically for, you see this antenna or this antenna, when it's all dry and hot outside and dusty, that electrical ground, the ESD, static electricity buildup, like when you rub a balloon or you rub like in your truck and you get out and you shock yourself when you close the door. You want that stuff to go into ground, because if it doesn't go into ground, then it's going to go somewhere in your device or something like that. I'm dealing with $22 radios. My polyphase I'm gonna put on it is gonna cost more than what the boxes and the radio is gonna cost. I'm not dealing with that. But I'm gonna tell you this right now: my Wingbits devices, because I don't want to lose no geosigners, they're grounded. Most of them have, just because the only way I could do it is at the bottom of the antenna. It's got a polyphaser with a ground strap that goes to ground somehow. Depending on how long the feed line is, it might even be grounded again. Like the one on my personal tower at the house, because I'm paranoid as hell, because it's the highest thing anywhere around here. I got grounding at the top to the tower, and I got grounding on the bottom of the tower. So I do ground my stuff. My ham stuff is grounded. I took a lightning strike on a dipole when I was literally standing about 40 or 50 feet from it. I've showed pictures before on Discord and on this live a long time ago. It is the best colon cleanser that God has ever created. You know, and the my kids were really small. We had a pool in the backyard, one of those above ground pools, and the main highway is about a mile, because if I walk or jog, don't laugh, to there and back, it's about 2 miles. So about a mile up, and the storm was passed on the radar, was past that road, and my kids left all their inflatables out, because during the summertime around here, you could be perfectly swimming, eat some lunch, and it's bright as hell, and you turn around, it's storming. Well, that's what's happening. The storm was over a mile away, and I had lightning strike my dipole that went from a tree to another tree. Put a 1 foot perfectly circular hole where the feed line came down and then ran across the ground a little bit. It went down the feed line, and instead of taking that 90-degree turn, it shot out the side of it, went into the ground, and put a hole. I'm telling you, about 6-8 inches down. It was so loud, I thought I was dying. I thought I was dead. And once you get that kind of experience, you're like, I'm gonna respect this shit. I'm lucky that me standing in wet grass from the pool and stuff like that, I didn't get shocked or nothing like that. And maybe I did, and this is all a dream. I don't know. Anything else, boys and girls? We've been here for 2 hours, a little over 2 hours. Somebody will complain that I didn't put chapters in all this. Every live, and look, I'm happy that people come watch this. I don't know how much people gonna watch this one about mesh, but I've always said I don't get that upset when I only get, like, right now I got 12 people viewing. We've been talking about mesh. I'm not expecting it. I've been having some pretty good live numbers, 20, 25 people, but I don't really get upset with that, because I know I'm getting 100 or 200 people who are going to come back and watch this during their time, whatever that might be. So, but it seems like every live I get this comment that says, Death Live would be better if you put chapters. Dude, we talk about all kinds of stuff. There's no way I could ever go back and put chapters in this. No way. We talk this was supposed to be a shorter live because it's only on Wednesday, and we talked. Here we are getting 2 hours and 15, 16 minutes. So it is what it is. I appreciate everybody's support as usual. Numbers coming back up. I know I'm not doing myself any favors by not doing Monday update videos. There's no really projects to do videos on right now. That's why, and the reason why I put that mesh core video on this channel also, about building a box, because just to get something on the channel. I know that the YouTube algorithm is killing me right now, but I don't want to do video just for the sake of doing videos. But it is what it is. Well, Cloud, I appreciate that. All right, boys and girls, I appreciate it. Like I said, tomorrow night, my daughter's playing softball. Like, for those of y'all who might be just coming in, I see the numbers are going up. For those of y'all who might be just coming in and weren't here at the beginning, my daughter, it's her senior year of high school softball. She's been playing softball since 4 years old, travel ball and everything. For those of y'all who follow along with my life things, drama and stuff, she had surgery on her pitching shoulder last year. They thought her softball career was completely done. She missed the season before that. So just for her to be able to come back her senior year, I kind of got choked up just seeing her poster I'm not gonna show it because they got too many creepy people on the internet. Y'all gonna have to just apologize. I'm gonna have to apologize, but whatever. But the seniors now, they didn't do this when I was in high school back in the Stone Ages, but the seniors now for each sport, no matter if you play tennis or volleyball or baseball, the seniors get their poster on the field or on the session stand or something like that. I've always wanted to see her picture, her poster. And I really didn't think I would because of the injuries. And when the doctor really said she probably shouldn't be playing at all anymore. And the fact that she has toughed it through. I know she's in pain, but she wants to play her senior year. Who am I to stop her? I'm going to catch every game. And if I miss lives, and if there's some weeks that I don't do a live, I hope most of y'all would understand that. Family first. I've told y'all that on most of my videos. I'm a family first. You never know what tomorrow's going to bring. Guy that hunts with us at the hunting camp, pray for his family. He's retired state trooper from Mississippi. Perfectly fine health. He might have been in his late 60s. Perfectly fine health. No cancer, no nothing, no heart problems, no nothing. Last Thursday brings his wife to the, or Friday maybe, brings his wife to emergency room. She's not feeling well. When he started discussing everything and what might be going on with her, drops dead. He's done. He's out. 69 years old. Nothing wrong with him. Nothing wrong with him. Great guy. Give the shirt off his back and whatever else was on his back. And you talk to got a lot of these not younger anymore, but these younger state troopers talk about how great of a mentor he was. He was never the a-hole. He was always understanding, helping families, helping people out. And somebody needed to go catfishing with him, or needed somebody to come with him to go catfishing because his partner backed out, and the dude don't even know what he's doing, would go anyway just to go help. Like that kind of guy drops dead, dude. 69. My point is, you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. Luckily, my family, my parents are still here. My wife's parents are still here. I tell you all the time, I tell you all for Thanksgivings and for Christmases and Easters and stuff. Like, life is short. Like, I don't try to hold too many grudges. If I ever catch Oreo from D-Fly on the side of the road, the old grumpy from the 1990s is coming back and he's getting a fucking beat down. Other than that, I don't hold I don't hold grudges, and I wish everybody would like, the politics these days is killing me. The separation and what they're telling each other, and the way people just, their way is the right way. I don't care what side it is. You love ice, you hate ice, you don't want ice in your iced tea. Life is too short for all that. And that's the only thing I can tell. I can't give y'all crypto advice because I suck at it, and there's nothing to give y'all advice. I can just try to give y'all some life advice from a guy who is 50 years old, overweight, can't lose weight, and having heart issues already, and prostate issues already, and all these other health issues that I don't tell y'all about half the time. Life is short. Enjoy it, and it is what it is. Every day I wake up, it hurts when I wake up. It hurts when I roll out of bed. I think there's something new wrong because I'm like, I'm 50 years old. I shouldn't hurt this bad. I played high school football. Like, I didn't go play 20 years of football. I think going to the gym for 30 years has did more wear and tear and pain on my body than helped me. But either way, when I wake up, I'm still happy to wake up. I'm paranoid. I literally get so paranoid sometimes at night about death in my family and what's going to happen to my kids and stuff like that. Like, I will stay in bed, stay up, and just don't want to go to sleep because that's just how I get. And for those of y'all who are younger, I never was like that before. I think as you get older and you get kids, that kind of stuff happens. But it is what it is. I know. I'm completely, now I need to go add a new subject, life lessons to the thing. But it is what it is, man. Y'all hit the like button. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. I never thought I'd have a YouTube channel with 36,000. If anybody, people at work find out that I have, or even some of my friends find out that I have a YouTube channel, they don't believe it. I'm Mr. Grumpy. Like, that's how the name came. Like, I have people that know, hey, Grumpy just got back, just got to work. He hasn't had his second cup of coffee yet. Don't go by his desk. Because they know. Like if you ever saw that little meme video with the lady who puts her hands up when the ostrich is running towards her and she puts her hands up and the ostrich just stops. Like, I'll do that to people. Like, when I know they got this certain person that'll come with this khaki voice, and I know they come to complain about nothing, I'll just, like, I'm drinking my coffee and I just go, hey man, I got 4 months, 4 months. I don't want to lie to nobody because somebody's gonna call me out. I got 4 months, 3 days, 2 hours, and 36 minutes until retirement. 4 months. I was 20 years old when I started my job. I can retire in 4 months and 3 days with 100% salary and 100% insurance for the rest of my life. But I'm not. I'm gonna keep on going because that's when the real money starts. And what am I do? Sit at home, make YouTube videos all day, like George every morning, telling y'all this is a great time to buy Bitcoin because just because it dipped, it's gonna rebound any minute. Any minute. I love George. I wish I could be that positive about everything, especially crypto. Let me tell you why today is a great day to buy Bitcoin because this and this and this is triggered for the first time in this, and it's a great time to buy Bitcoin. Tyler too. I love Tyler, but he's too much in that bandwagon too. Look, I know you just lost all kinds of money in Bitcoin, but let me tell you why today is the best day to buy Bitcoin because it's about to go shooting up. So, all right. I appreciate it. Thank y'all. Let me get the hell out of here. It's almost 9:30. Like I said, tomorrow there'll be no live. That's what I was getting at. There'll be no live tomorrow. My daughter's got another game tomorrow. If I'm really, really bored, maybe another impromptu meeting on Friday. Video on Friday. If maybe some news happens with crypto, Wingbits, or something like that. Because I don't have anything Friday night. Saturday, I go drive all the way down to Grand Isle. I haven't been there in a while. 3-hour drive almost because my Wingbit station down there is offline. Oh, that's another one. I didn't even think about that one. It's another one offline DIY station. If y'all heard me talk about that earlier. That's the only thing I really got planned this weekend. So maybe an impromptu live. I'm not promising you. It's been a while since I've been able to be a lazy potato on the, as I say it, on the sofa. You know, last week I put stations up. We had Tower Climbs weekend before that was Mardi Gras and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. We'll play it by ear. Thank y'all for watching. See y'all next video. Let me get the hell out of here.